Hello there, and welcome to an all-new episode of Talking SMAC, where we talk superheroes, movies, animation, comics, and so much more. I'm your host, Josh Scar, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, the most proper gentleman you've ever met, Mr. Alex. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad you decided to notice that I'm wearing a waistcoat, that I've been to the haberdashery, I've been to the mustachery. I am having a wonderful day today.
Your kerchief is cutting off your neck wonderfully. I can barely see it.
Oh, it is fantastic. In fact, if you notice, it is so tight, it gives me that blush in the cheeks that is all the rage.
I thought you were just giving yourself a little color by pinching the cheeks, but I mean, the haberdashery is where to go if you don't have the time to pinch your cheeks.
Exactly.
Or if you've got mittens, if you got paws with toe beans. So, I mean, it's hard to pinch when you don't have opposable thumbs.
It's true. And I do say, you, sir, today are being quite scandalous. Your hair is down.
My hair is down because I am a fancy lady that don't give no fucks.
This should really be a talking back episode.
No, it's Nostalgiathon.
I know. I could just see like Ricky in like the background, just like, you guys need to take this seriously. It's like, I actually love this movie we're going to talk about this week. But before we get to that, Josh, how are you doing today? Have you married a pensioner yet?
No, but I did marry very wonderfully into a marriage of circumstance that allows me to not be the breadwinner, but just bring in the fun money. So that's all well and good. But other than that, I'm eagerly awaiting tomorrow, which is when the Packers kick off the season. And hopefully by Wednesday, I will still be anticipating things because the very next day they have another game and I am back in football mode. So get ready for me to talk about the Packers every once in a while while we're recording throughout the next 5 months or so.
Yeah, you don't need to be in a 3-point stance while we're recording, but I appreciate your commitment here.
3-point stance with my hair down and getting Ricky. She's trying to make me proper, I guess would be the right way to put it.
She's going to send you away to boarding school.
How dare thee? Thou?
That was... who knows?
Thine. How dare thine? It does feel apt that we are talking about Sense and Sensibility, the action blockbuster of the decade of the 1990s for Nostalgiathon, with the Movie Wire as our promo. Like, who else could it be but the Movie Wire? I don't know that I scheduled this appropriately, but it did work out nice. So we're going to hear from the Movie Wire. When we come back, we're going to talk Sense and Sensibility. We'll be right back.
He's on the run from the law, falsely accused of murdering his... Wait. Oh, got my scripts mixed up here. Here we go. This makes more sense. The Movie Wire Podcast with host Justin Henson. Hear Justin's movie verdict wherever you listen to podcasts. Tune in to The Movie Wire today.
And we're back. We are here to talk Sense and Sensibility. This really does feel like it should be a talking back, which Ricky and I have yet to record the Wicked episode. That should be happening soon. Yeah, that's coming along. We'll see when that actually comes out. But we are here to talk about the 1995 Jane Austen adaptation written by Emma Thompson. She won the Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay. She is the only actor, or at least the first actor, to win both an Oscar for acting as well as writing.
So part of the reason why I pitch Sense and Sensibility is, one, this is Marvel tangential, because we have Ang Lee, who eventually went on.
The Hulk.
Yep, who eventually directed the Hulk.
That's something we'll need to get into a little bit. This doesn't feel like an Ang Lee movie. Like we'll talk about it.
But also, I just unabashedly love this movie. It wasn't on my radar at all growing up or anything like that until maybe 10, 15 years ago or so, when we were talking about Alan Rickman, how amazing she is. And she's like, oh, Sense and Sensibility is one of my favorite movies because it's the movie where he gets the girl. And I'm like, he's played non-villain roles. And sure enough, he had to go to this little Jane Austen, very British adaptation, $16 million budget filmed, which he's not, well, I guess he is one of the leads, but yeah, he does. And it's in the most like break your heart, sad sap, rejected, beaten down man way of being able to get the girl, and yet it is so rewarding when it happens. And then, you know, he goes off to like do Galaxy Quest, like the next year.
I had to keep reminding myself that this is a different time, and that a man who is probably supposed to be somewhere in his 30s or 40s is able to marry a young girl who is supposed to be probably somewhere between 15 and 20.
Yeah, about right then.
Yeah. I mean, that's still that era. So I had to keep reminding myself that, yes, Alan Rickman, he didn't even break in until he was 40. And thankfully, there's no like on screen kissing between the two as well. Like it's all just, it's very British.
Yes.
Which I do love that there's a line in there where, or no, that was from, there's an episode, the new Outlander spinoff, Blood of My Blood. In the most recent episode, there's a line from the British lady in the show where I think she's in labor, and the midwife is like, "Oh, just do a thing." She's like, "Oh, I'm far too British for that. It's okay." I think I mixed those two up in my head because I wish there was a moment like that where they're like, "Oh, I must kiss you," and then, "No, I'm too British for that. Like, save that for the bedroom."
So this movie is a Jane Austen adaptation and stars Emma Thomas, Hugh Grant, Kate Winslet, Alan Rickman, Hugh Laurie, who I always forget is in this.
He was such a wonderful surprise for this. And he's just chewing the scenery in his most subtle way that he does.
Imelda Staunton, you know, Robert Hardy, Elizabeth Spriggs, Tom Wilkinson. It's so many people where you're like, yes, they were on the BBC when I would see it on PBS. And like you said, it's directed by Ang Lee, and this movie is just so...
It's very masterpiece theater, hence the intro music. Like we were saying that was going to be solely for commentaries, but no, like this is kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit with it being not feeling like an Ang Lee movie. Is it just that it's a very Jane Austen thing where everything is very plain and simple, and you let the dialogue and the acting kind of carry the cinematography and everything? Because it feels very just like made for TV, but with better cameras and higher quality acting, which, like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the masterpiece theater stuff is very good.
Yeah.
But obviously Hollywood has a different standard and a different expectation of acting, which is why Kate Winslet, Emma Thompson both got nominated for leading and supporting actress. But overall, like, it still just feels very pulled back and reserved in terms of how the movie is shot.
Yeah, it almost seems like he came on to just like be a hired hand of just, hey, let's just see what happens, because I more know him for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Brokeback Mountain, which has a similar way, but it still is very different, very American feel to it, the way everything's done, and the Hulk.
Which I do have to say, the Hulk, not a great script, not a great movie in execution. In concept, with what he was doing with like the comic book panels and all these other things that are happening, I really dig the aesthetic of the movie. The way it looks is pretty awesome, but it's not a good movie. I'm not conceding that it's a good movie. It's a bad movie, but there are a lot of really interesting and cool swings with that movie. I understand what he's going for with it. It just didn't come together. But Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah, no, I agree with that about the Hulk. Like, when I saw it as a kid, I didn't like it. I just thought something was off. And then watching it, you know, later when you see how Spider-Verse and others have interpreted the comic book thing, you kind of get what he was going for. And I do have a little bit more of an appreciation for it, but that's an appreciation that takes it from like a 4 out of 10 to like a 4.5, maybe a 5.
Yeah. Like his vision for what that movie could have been was ahead of its time. If he had a better script, then maybe something different happens. But he's limited by bad movie scripts for comic book movies because they just think people are here to see the superhero stuff. Let's just slap something together and let the director do what he wants to do. But we're off topic. Sense and Sensibility.
Yep. To bring us back on topic, apparently Ang Lee wanted this role because he thought the script was beautiful. Props to Emma Thompson. to talk a little bit about that script, it is the most British script ever. It is about daughters who are left a pittance of inheritance when their father dies because his father gives it to his son from his first marriage, who basically casts them off to the smallest cottage on the estate. And then it is all about the
that's still a pretty big cottage. Like they showed that quote unquote cottage, and I was like, that's a fucking house. Like that looks like my house.
Not only that, but they had to like, what is it? They have to like, they're so desperate they have to go down to like 5 staff or something like that.
They're allowed 2, and they have to do like their own shopping and stuff. But like, yes. Oh no! But it's important to note that the half brother from the first marriage is not necessarily the reason why they are destitute, because the father makes him promise to take care of the family, and then his wife kind of encourages his greed, where he's like, they're given $500 a year, and I'll give them $1,500 to get started. They'll be good. And then the wife kind of like, and then he's like, you know what? You're right. They're good with $500 plus like $20 every now and again, right? That's fine.
Which, yes, Fanny and John are just horrible people. Like every time they're on camera, I swear the score or like the background, like lighting shifts just a little bit. So you're like, oh, these are bad people. Like they're making them live with 2 staff. He has the actual house. He's like, these people are so broken by moving to this cottage. They have to rely on other people to lend them their second homes to stay.
Yeah.
It is a very much a rich people problems kind of movie.
But that's something that Jane Austen really excels at, is finding a way to put rich people in relatable situations where you get to see the elegance of the high class. You get to see a lot of the like pomp and circumstance that we associate with the upper class, but our main characters that we're going through this journey with, they're within that social group, but they're on the outside looking in because everyone's like, oh, those are the people that used to be rich, or that's the family with the headstrong daughter that won't get married for reasons. They're clearly crazy. So like society knows them, but they don't accept them. And so like everyone has felt like an outsider at times. And Jane Austen just does a wonderful job of making that perspective and it's Jane Austen, so usually it's a woman's perspective as well, and in a modern sense is also it's accessible to everyone, men, women, as long as you're not just some bro sitting there chugging back a beer being like, yeah man, can't wait for the swords and saddles to hit this thing. No, you're going to be able to approach this movie and appreciate it for what it is and the story it's telling, and most Jane Austen stuff as well.
Yeah, certainly. Like the main cast is the collection of daughters, Eleanor, Marianne, Lucy, and I forget the youngest daughter's name is. Margaret, yes. It's very quickly put into perspective, especially by the beginning where they're being basically moved away, is that their objective in life is not, they can't go get a job. Their objective in life is, why don't you get a job? Is they have to marry well. And the thing is, when they like have to dismiss some of their staff a little later in the movie, when they get forced to like another cottage, that's heartbreaking because they care about those people. It's not that they're the people kind of like Downton Abbey, where they're the people in the background whose lives you're seeing. Like, they live with them. They know them. They've raised them. They've been on this land. This is their land as much as it is like Emma Thompson's land. It is heartbreaking. And oftentimes when that happens, they have to split up the family because like, well, okay, this person can go get a job here, or we can send you to live with a cousin who's like 6 counties over and we'll never see you again. So she does this amazing job of being relatable. And I think the script and Ang Lee do a fantastic job of, while the staff is hired staff, it makes them barely below the situation that the daughters are placed in. Like, and the daughters are having to make drastic decisions, knowing that they are separating people people's families, but also separating people they rely on. It's not just, oh yeah, you've been here for like a year or two. It's like, no, you birthed me, you were there, you've seen father remarry, you've traveled with us, you've had children, you married the person, you married the staff of the next door people. It's heartbreaking. And I absolutely love that, because it does make you understand, as you said, that these people are just they were at the level where we can go to all the society balls we're expected to, and now they're on the outside looking in, and how quickly everyone seems to just turn against them, of like, oh, you only have $500 a year to live off of, why are we talking to you?
The scene you're referring to as well, where they acknowledge the staff, and they're like, we're taking Tina and Tom with us. Like, yeah, everyone else, you're going to have to stay here and deal with Fanny and John. It does a really good job implicating that they were well taken care of staff. They weren't abused. They weren't taken advantage of. They were treated very well. And the implication of you're sticking around with Fanny and John, or whatever the other guy's name was, good fucking luck. Because obviously there was a good relationship here, at least from the master's perspective. I don't know how you'd want to put it. The head of the household's perspective, it was a good relationship. But the script, the implication of that scene, and the way it's shot really feels like it is implying that they were well taken care of at the very least. Like it does genuinely feel heartbreaking when Emma Thompson's character, Eleanor, when she has to break that news, because the mother's just in mourning. Like, she can't do anything for anything. She can go to the bathroom and she can cry. Those are her two skills right now.
Exactly.
So it's just, and it does a really good job of condensing. Like, Jane Austen, her books were never like massive, but there's a lot of detail in her stories. And this movie does a really good job of condensing it and still making it relatable, understandable, and flows really well. If there's a negative that I have about anything Jane Austen did, which it's like very minor, is she is the queen of like the quick wrap up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're talking about a movie from 1995. If you're still listening to us 20 minutes in, I'm hoping you've seen this movie. But the way the movie ends is literally, there's a misunderstanding for the last like 30 minutes that Hugh Grant's character has been secretly engaged to another woman for 5 years, and we've been told that they got married last week. Now all of a sudden Hugh Grant shows up at the door, and he's like, oh, that was my brother that got married. Him and his weird teeth fell in love with my fiance. And I was like, okay, cool. And
I love that resolution so much. Movie
over, like conflict over. Oh, that was a misunderstanding. Happened off screen. We're good. Jane Austen is the master of that, where just all the big conflict resolution happens off screen and the characters just talk to each other like people. In Hugh Grant's way in this movie, where he's just charmingly befuddled. But yeah, he's just like, oh yeah, we're going to talk it out. And like, Jane Austen is the queen of that. But it also just, the conflict resolution is always so weird with Jane Austen, because like I said, it happens off screen usually, or like off page. And then it's told to us after the fact. I had not seen this movie before. I remember when I worked at Media Play, this was always on the display shelf. Like, we always had that front end cap at the beginning of the movie, at the beginning of the movie section. Sense and Sensibility was there. The Band of Brothers box set was there. And then it was the Kirsten Dunst tennis movie with, oh God, what's Vision's name?
Vision. Dang it. Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany. Yeah. The tennis movie. Was it Wimbledon? I don't know.
Yes, I believe it is Wimbledon.
Yeah, the Kirsten Dunst, Paul Bettany tennis movie that was on display, but Sense and Sensibility was always there. And I remember looking at that cover all the time and not recognizing Kate Winslet. I'm like, who the hell is Kate Winslet on this? Because I just saw the like Annie curls in the front of her bonnet. And I'd like, after when the bonnet comes off, her hair is beautiful. But when the bonnet's on, it looks like she's got like a perm going or something. But that's neither here nor there. Just a little anecdote of my late teens. But this is it's a wonderful movie, and I can see why it's a very highly thought of adaptation of Jane Austen. Like, I know there's a couple of miniseries and there's like an adaptation from the 80s as well, but this one stands up to its own. I will say the only other issue I have with it is it did take a lot for me to buy into Alan Rickman as a romantic interest. And I think the movie understood that as well, because they really just went, she's sick, she's awake, he's there. And she's like, oh, he was here for me when the other guy wasn't. I love him now, or at least I'm okay with him.
All right, I want to get back to that in a moment, but the main crux of it is that Emma Thompson's the oldest daughter, and she needs to start taking care of her sister.
A spinster of 24, although she's filming this when she's like 34, 35.
Yeah, but it's an 80s 34.
1810, I think. Yeah.
1810. Right. So she cannot give herself over to love because she has to get her sister settled. Because as you said, she's a spinster, and if Ang Lee really wanted to lean into it, he should have had like 5 or 6 cats following her around at all times.
The casting is so good in terms of the acting, but it's really hard for me to see Emma Thompson as anything but like the motherly nanny kind of person that it is like her as like the love interest in the lead. I came to find Emma Thompson too late. Even though she was in Junior, I didn't realize that was her until like 10, 15 years ago.
No, I love Emma Thompson. And in this movie, she is trying really hard to work on her sisters to get them like properly married off, because she knows she can't let their like status drop too quickly, and also they need money. But there's Hugh Grant, and thankfully I love Hugh Grant in this movie because it is Hugh Grant before he really hit the Hugh Grant level, like Notting Hill and some of those other late 90s
Bridget Jones' Diary and stuff. Yeah,
where he really leans into his Hugh Grantness of like kind of stammering and befuddled and confused. Like we now have Jeff Goldblum, who right around Jurassic Park went full Goldblum.
Whenever you cast the Goldblum, you get the Goldblum.
Exactly. So she's like really reserved, denying her own sexuality, sensibility, whatever. And she's working with the other sisters to get them married off. But her biggest problem child is Kate Winslet. And God bless Kate Winslet in this role, because if this role was remade, was filmed like William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, the Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes one, she would be a full 90s goth girl. She'd be like the leather pants, combat, big ass combat boots, dyed black hair, full white face paint makeup, goth out nails, writing like angry notes in a notebook in her own blood kind of thing. Because she experiences every emotion in this movie to 4,000%.
She is very expressive, and I mean her journey is really the linchpin of the story. I don't want to say the film because it's also the book, but Marianne is kind of the emotional linchpin of this film, because it's really her journey into courtship that allows Eleanor to recognize what she wants and go after what she wants a little bit more. So Kate Winslet, apparently when she auditioned, they wanted her for a different part. I think it might've been Lucy Steele. But she apparently lied in her audition and just went, I'm here to audition for Marianne. And they went, okay. And she got the role. That, according to IMDb.
Hey, bless her if she did that, because she owns this role.
Yes.
Which her love story is the most English love story. She falls in love with a man after she's out playing on the hills and twists her ankle. And so he must check in on her every day and read to her. It's
so charming when he brings her home too. And she's just like, everyone is just like, get his name, find out who he is, get the information so we know who this man is, so we can hunt him down and marry him off to Marianne. It's so charmingly adorable. And it's, as you said, it's very British. It's very of its time, but you can feel everyone kind of collectively swoon when Willoughby shows up.
Oh yeah. And Willoughby, it's also why I love the story is just so absurd, because it's apparently a twisted ankle back in the day took like 6 months to heal or something like that, which I know it's not. It's more like 2 weeks or something like that. But because he has read to her a few times and the sisters blessedly left them alone briefly, they now expect him to propose. It's like it's been 2 weeks. He's read like 2 pages of that poetry book, and he assisted her in walking. Calm down, everyone. But at the same time, it's like, oh, is he? He's like, wait, something's a little off with this guy. It's like,
he felt her ankle, man.
I know he touched it.
She has been deflowered.
She has. Which at that same time, Alan Rickman's been around, and yes, Alan Rickman is supposed to be a guy in his 30s, 40s, which he was, in his 40s. And his sad sap of like, he sees her and immediately is just like, I have fallen in love. Which, to be fair to Alan Rickman, the reason why he's an eligible bachelor is not because he's had like, his wives have died, but he's been the colonel. He's been in the military for so long. And now that he's back and he has his wonderful pension of like thousands of dollars a year or a month, I forget. It's a lot of money. He has a big.
It's the British Army. He's making money.
Yes.
In the 1800s.
Yes. He's a colonel now, and and he is over the top, like trying to help them as he can, but he does have some baggage with him. Apparently, he has a ward he's taking care of, and they're not sure if that ward was perhaps from the war of like one of his children.
Scandalous.
I know. And I love it. Just seeing him not be like Snape or not be John from Robin Hood Men in Tights or a bad guy is so just baffling at first, because like he's going to like secretly kill them all, right? It's like he's like he's going to have the face heel turn eventually, right? But no, he's just this man who wants to do what is proper and right by them, who knows they're in a bad situation, and he just happens to fall in love with Kate Winslet, which back in like the mid 90s, who didn't?
Yeah, what would be there would be something wrong with you if you hadn't fallen in love with Kate Winslet.
Yes, their love story, I agree with you, is the linchpin of this movie, because when it eventually comes out that Willoughby abandons her affections to leave suddenly for London, and then they make the dramatic turn to go to London, which is when Hugh Laurie shows up. The entire part of them in London, like trying to be in high society and getting called out for it of not wearing the newest fashions and stuff, is fantastic. And Hugh Laurie is there with his, Mr. Palmer was there with his wife, Charlotte Palmer. And every scene they are in together, it is like they're literally drinking tea and just watching insanity unfold in front of them. Like, she didn't talk to you? Oh, or like, he came across the room and spoke to you. Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, I found Dolores Umbridge and the mother-in-law, they were intentionally insufferable. Oh, they're and wonderful. Hugh Laurie plays off of it so well.
Oh, it's beautiful.
As only Hugh Laurie can. That dry wit is just something else from that man. It's very Downton Abbey. Like it's that whole sequence is very, like you said, the scandal of it all. Like, oh, she knew his name. How did a young girl know Willoughby's name? She called to him. She said it to him across the room.
Yes.
Oh my, clutch my pearls, get my fan. But Hugh Laurie, I was so scared when he first showed up that like, that was it. He wasn't house yet. So like Hugh Laurie was probably still paying his dues in whatever BBC dramas he was in. But then he shows up a little bit later after his initial appearance. And I was just like, thank you, Jesus. This is what I need, is Hugh Laurie having lines in a prestige film.
Ang Lee nails some of the humor in this because he lets them just have these dry-witted lines. But there's also the way all the sisters are reacting when any man shows interest in any of the sisters. Like they like flee the room, but then like they show them rushing up to closed doors, like trying to fight with each other to like, okay, we're all listening. Are they talking? Is there any hand holding? Or like when they're outside, it's like everyone's finding a reason to be in the background or in a window kind of thing. It's great.
I wish I could. Maybe you can remember. There's one scene that literally made me laugh out loud where I think it's just after. I think it's just after the party when Hugh Grant's character shows up in London.
Mm-hmm.
And like all three women are together. You've got Marianne, Eleanor, and Lucy. And Marianne is standing and she like says something. I wish I could remember, but it's just all three women staring directly down the lens of the camera and just looking at him at us, the audience, but at Hugh Grant so seriously. And
yeah,
the way that shot lingers, it was really funny. And I was like, I appreciate that humor.
there's little just beats and moments, and the writing and the directing and the cast are so strong because you believe all these moments are the most important things in their lives as they are happening. And they're able to do the whiplash of like, it's like, everybody, we all know we want Eleanor to be with Hugh Grant. What's his name? Ferrers? Edward
Edward
Yeah.
Ferrars.
But when it turns out that he might be pressured to marry someone else, how dare he? You know, then you find out, well, he's being pressured to, because if he doesn't do this, his mother's going to cut him off and he's going to lose everything. And they're like, well, then he should marry her. And how dare you intrude upon her life, his life?
No, it's he's trying to hold up to his honor because he made that engagement when he was supposed to be like 15, 16.
Oh, you're right.
And his mom actually says,
right.
like, I'm irrevocably taking away your inheritance if you marry this woman. And he's like, I made a promise, I made a vow to marry this woman. I'm going to hold up to it.
I forgot about that part.
So he was willing to go poor, but then his brother and his teeth decided that they like not Jena Malone better. And that left Hugh Grant to go and do as he pleases, which is go off and become a minister and marry Eleanor, which I know that the woman who plays Lucy Steele is not Jena Malone, but when she's in a bonnet, the only thing she's missing is that like Sylvester Stallone's slight lip curl that Jena Malone has. Like the eyes look the same, similar face structure. And I spent half of her scenes just being like, who the fuck do you remind me of? And then I finally realized it was Jena Malone when there's like a really good straight on shot and you could see her eyes, and the eyes are what sealed it for me. It's like, you look like Jena Malone.
In my opinion, the big emotional resolution of the film is not the tie up at the end where Eleanor and Edward are able to get together, which, as you said, is very odd because he's able to pass his brother off to the girl he was engaged to, but she likes him more.
His brother steps up.
Yes.
Because they shared a real quick glance, and Lucy saw those teeth and was like, that's the man for me.
And so he's able to pass him off, get rid of him so that he can, live his life, become a vicar, which I always, for a little while, I was always like, okay, but the priests don't have sex, so this is weird. Forgetting it's the British version of Christianity.
They might be Lutherans. You never know.
Yeah, whatever. So yes, he the vicars can marry and have children, even though she's 24. She's practically barren. Which is how they treated this damn movie. But to me, the real true emotional crux of this movie is Kate Winslet, Alan Rickman, and Willoughby, because she's pining hard for him, and he just for Willoughby, and he just kind of discards her, which is why they make that venture into London, because she kind of like bitches at everyone until they do so, but with her emo-ness, telling them she'll start wearing black suddenly if they don't.
And everyone's like, you've been wearing black half the movie because we're supposed to be in mourning.
Which, yes, isn't there just... I haven't seen this movie in probably maybe like 6 months. Isn't there a part where they discuss how much longer they'd have to wear black if like somebody else passed away? Or there's something about that.
I don't remember, but I do remember clocking that she is at least wearing that black veil or like shawl until she meets Willoughby. And then like from that moment on, she is no longer wearing black.
Yeah. He discards her. And because he is swearing himself to somebody else,
because he lost his inheritance, so he had to marry rich if he wanted to stay within his society. So he decided money was more important than love.
And then Colonel Brandon tells Eleanor, he helps resolve like what happened, like why he was cut out, is the fact that, well, Willoughby gets around. And he fathered a kid with somebody. His mom found out, cut him off. Like, how dare you sully the family by sleeping around? And so he turned his charms to the richest woman he could find, and saddled
with the longest neck.
Yes, I think that family is part giraffe. I'm not sure. They're unconfirmed reports.
Hugh Grant's family needs a little bit of those genes in there because, I mean, I know he's just, part of him is just being like awkward and hunching. I don't know exactly what he's doing, but he's always just kind of leaning forward just a little bit and pulling his neck in and hiding in his kerchief, like almost like a turtle.
Yes. So Kate Winslet believes that, like, because their estates are near each other, that if she just kind of wanders out and can see him one more time, he'll change his mind. And so she wanders, she gets caught in a torrential English downpour, and she gets saved by Alan Rickman, who brings her back to the house, but she has the fever.
She needs more cowbell.
And she's sick for like 12 years, to which they bloodlet her, and they're worried it's going to spread and she's going to die. And I will say, my wife reminded me, like, one of Alan Rickman's best parts in this movie is now that he's brought her there, and he just looks at Emma Thompson. He's like, give me something to do, because he's distraught, because even though she has spurned him, he still loves her and wants to protect her and see to her. And yeah, at the end, when they're together, I'm like, oh, yay, Alan Rickman finally got the girl. And the emo girl finally went, maybe I should be with somebody who's not sleeping around with everybody, who actually wants to read with me and not immediately, when I'm actually sick, instead of twisting my ankle.
I think it reads better than what's portrayed on screen, because again, it's really hard for me to get over the age gap, especially knowing that Kate Winslet is probably 18, 19 when she's filming this movie, because I think she was only in her early 20s when they did Titanic.
Yeah, she was like 22, I think.
Yeah, well, she would, as soon as the Oscars wrapped, they would have probably started filming Titanic, or at least auditioning for Titanic at that point. So I dig the story. The on-screen presentation always just gives me a little bit of the jeebies.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me, just because it's Alan Rickman, and it is him.
I think it's because Alan Rickman is perpetually 60 years old. Even when he's like 30 years old, he's 60.
He has the Steve Martin issue. It's something, except he's 60s and Steve Martin was always 80.
Yeah. Or at least he had the hair of an 80-year-old.
Yeah. Which is really weird.
So
now that he is almost 80, it's like, you're finally the age I thought you were when I was growing up.
There's speaking of him and going on tangents, I saw a really quick video of when he and Martin Short were on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and they were just recapping the three Amigos, and they were just sharing their favorite jokes. And Steve Martin was talking about how his favorite joke is just El Guapo opening up the present and be like, "It's a sweater." And I think I never realized that was supposed to be a joke, but like it's just funny. And then he talks about how my favorite joke is Carmen at the end, where Steve Martin he's not Dusty, Lucky.
Yeah, Lucky Day.
He's Lucky Day. Lucky says, "I'll come back for you someday," or "I'll come back someday." And Carmen goes, "Why?" Like, that's my favorite line.
Oh no, to me, that movie, which by the way, it is 40 years old. I mean,
besides the My Little Buttercup sequence,
yes.
But like, that's not a line. That's an entire scene.
Speaking of which, our commentary for that episode will release January 1st of next year, when it is 40-year nostalgia for that movie. But since we're saying favorite lines from the Three Amigos, my favorite line of that movie is at his birthday party. They captured they captured Dusty Bums, they captured a Lucky Day, and then El Guapo goes, "What? Are amigos falling from the sky?" And like what Steve Martin's character finally, or whichever one, just drops and hits the table.
I think it was Ned.
Yeah, I think it's Ned. And then his right hand man goes, "Yes, El Guapo." It's the stupid earnestness of which he says it. Of like, "Yes, El Guapo."
That commentary is just going to be us sitting there laughing.
Hey, I'm fine with that, because that movie.
Sometimes you just need to laugh with a friend, and you can call us friends. We can do a parasocial relationship as long as you don't creep us out.
Hefe, that's his right hand man. Which, by the way, what are these names? El Guapo and Hefe. El Guapo literally means handsome.
It's 19. Well, I think El Guapo is supposed to be ironic.
Yeah.
but it's 1980s Hollywood understanding Spanish.
I mean, it is.
They say Jefe a lot. That must be a name, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know it's their joke. It's like that is part of the joke.
Oh, the other line that I think Martin Short brought up, because I'm thinking about it. It's when they're walking up in the cantina, and I think Lucky walks up to the bartender. He goes, "Hello, we're not Mexicans." They're in these spangly outfits, white as can be.
Yeah,
Stand out like a sore thumb. Yeah. Okay. Sense and Sensibility.
No, okay. They were like, I don't know why, but every once in a while it pops into my head of like when I'm like, if I'm like talking to my boss or something like that, and we're like, it's review period or something like that. Every once in a while, just Ned's line of like the beginning when they're getting fired and thrown out. Ned's line of like, I would like to continue working for free.
Hey, that's where we're going. You want a job? You better be ready to work for free.
Yeah, unfortunately. Back to Sense and Sensibility, who does not star Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, Martin Short.
I didn't get the giggle fits watching Sense and Sensibility, but yeah, let's get back to that, I guess.
It's not directed by John Landis, but Ang Lee. Oh man, it
is a beautiful movie, though. I can definitely see why it was nominated. I went and looked at the 95 Academy Awards, and they might as well just call that the troublesome years, because you have Mel Gibson winning Best Director. I think he won. No, he was nominated for Best Actor. I think cinematography was another Braveheart win. I think Kevin Spacey won for something that year, or at least one of the pictures that the Academy has on their website is Spacey up there with an award. It's a very John Lasseter won an honorary award for Toy Story. There's a lot of problematic stuff coming out of that year in terms of people walking away with recognition for work that they did, which, like, can you separate the work from the artist? Sometimes, but when the person is a monster, no.
Allegedly. Just covering all bases.
Well, I think in Mel Gibson's case, we can pretty definitively call him a racist monster.
Allegedly. Wait, Pocahontas won Best Original Music?
Oh, more problematic shit. Yeah, Pocahontas. Like Colors of the Wind, fantastic song. Apparently it won Best Original Score as well.
Yes.
Which answered a long-standing question I had of has an animated feature ever been even nominated for Best Original Score? Because it seems like animated features tend to get overlooked when it comes to original scores. Like almost like it's expected that these movies have great scores. We're not going to honor them with even a nomination. There are live action things that deserve recognition as well. And I think that's a bunch of bullshit. So the fact that Pocahontas walked away with Best Original Score and Best Original Song, I'm okay with. Again, stories within that movie, problematic a lot of it. But the work that went into the music is very much deserving.
Babe won Best Visual Effects over Apollo 13. What is this year? Okay, at least Best Documentary was Anne Frank Remembered. Okay. But weird. What a weird year.
It balances out, right? And Batman Forever got 2 Academy Award nominations. I think it was nominated for Best Visual Effects and maybe cinematography.
That sounds right.
Maybe makeup because of Two-Face.
Yeah, but good on Emma Thompson for winning. She wrote her heart out with this role. She knew how to balance it. I mean, she has to know that when she was looking at the pages as she's writing them, that she was giving away the crux of the story to somebody else. Even though her emotional journey is the end point of which she finally gets love and she's able to cry and express herself, which, by the way, as my wife pointed out to me, one of the best scenes is probably Kate Winslet going off on Emma Thompson for being this like stoic jerk, and Emma Thompson saying like, I am like this to allow you to be like you. It's just this beautiful scene.
But on Emma Thompson's Oscar win, I saw her acceptance speech, and she had a really great line, which I'm going to butcher, where she was talking about how I guess she visits Jane Austen's grave regularly, or at least she did while she was writing the script. And she's like, when I go to visit Jane Austen's grave, I don't know how I'm going to explain the grosses to her, but I'm going to let her know she's very popular in Uruguay. Which this movie was made, as you mentioned at the beginning of the episode, is made for a budget of like $16 million, which is only $1 million more than the movie that kicked off Nostalgiathon, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They made that $1 million go a long way, but I think it grossed over $140 million globally. And they even did a 2025 re-release. And I think they did a 2022 re-release, which neither of those made a lot of money. But back then, even cracking $100 million for a movie like this, that's a huge win.
Oh yeah, this was a massive film, and it allowed Ang Lee to continue. It
explains why I saw it on the shelves in Media Play all the time.
Oh yeah, and it allowed Ang Lee to, and everyone in that cast, to really just start taking other roles. Kate Winslet eventually, like a year later, probably off of this film, she did Titanic. Emma Thompson continued to write and direct and just be amazing. Ang Lee went on to several other movies, in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Hugh Grant continued to Hugh Grant. And what did he really do after this? Four Weddings, a Funeral was before this, so he would have been in Notting Hill, maybe shortly thereafter.
Notting Hill, was he in? Was it 9.5 weeks with Julia Roberts? Was that him? Or is that Notting Hill? Is that one?
That's Notting Hill, I believe.
Okay. I don't know Hugh Grant. He was in Dungeons and Dragons. Like, that's my favorite Hugh Grant movie. This is a very, very, very comfortable second, I will say.
My current favorite Hugh Grant movie is Heretic, because as I jokingly told Justin for the Movie Wire, I believe that was just filmed from his Ring camera. If missionaries come to his door, they get put in prison.
As well they should.
But yeah,
I don't knock on your door telling you to join the Church of Culvers.
I would be remiss if I did mention that the music was by Patrick Doyle. He just is fantastic in some of his scores. He did this score. He did Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet, and Bridget Jones's Diary. And the score just fits.
He's a guy who knows how to complement Hugh Grant's charming befuddledness.
Mm-hmm. He just knows how to like just put music in that is just listenable, does not intrude. I mean, I don't mean that as a rude way. The score complements. It doesn't overshadow anything.
Yeah, it never felt overwhelming. And I don't think it really stood out. I mean, I was watching it while my kids were across the hall playing in their room. So banging on the wall, hearing jumps and occasional cries and sorries, and then they're fine. So like the score was not the thing that really pulled my attention. I honestly don't know that I could say there's a single moment where I remember a really sweeping orchestral moment, other than the moment where Marianne is walking through the rain to try and get a view of Willoughby's house. But other than that, yeah, I could not mention much of the score, but I think that's, at times, like you said, it can be complimentary, which in this case it is, because it's really just there to help evoke and elevate the moment of the emotion that we're supposed to feel.
Yeah. Like every once in a while, when I'm like feeling like whimsical, like not whimsical, when I'm feeling like kind of romantic, I'll throw something like, I'm much more likely to go to this than something like, what is the one? Oh, damn it. There is a movie, I can't think about it. Oh yeah, 10 Things I Hate About You. Like, I will sometimes watch that. That's cute. But I'm not like a Notting Hill. I'm not 9.5 Weeks. I'm not
You know what we should have done? We should have done a Jane Austen double feature, because Keira Knightley's Pride and Prejudice is celebrating 20 years this year. So we should have double featured that, because that is very much considered to be like the Pride and Prejudice from many people. Yep. I know there's like a really highly regarded miniseries, but the movie, obviously it's a movie, so it's a little more approachable at 2 hours time investment. I very much want to go watch that one now after having watched Sense and Sensibility. So maybe that's something Ricky and I will do tonight after we're done recording.
Yeah, definitely should. It is a good movie.
Matthew McFadden is Mr. Darcy. Hey, Jena Malone's in that one. I forgot.
That's where you saw her. You're like, I knew it.
They just need a Jena Malone looking person in all Jane Austen adaptations.
They should. That would be fantastic. It's like, oh, we need a Jena Malone type. I got it.
Even though in 1995 Jena Malone was not a thing. The casting director's like, we need a Jena Malone type. Like, I don't know who that is, but I know what you mean.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Ugh.
Apparently she voices a female referee in WWE 2K24.
Jena Malone?
Yeah.
Huh.
I was looking to see what she has coming up. She does not have Horizon and American Saga Chapter 2 on her list anymore. I don't think anyone does. But Sense and Sensibility. Watch it.
Love it.
And then watch 2005 Pride and Prejudice. You'll have a good time feeling all classy. Yes,
you're going to feel very, very proper. You're going to get a little bit of that Britishness to you. You're going to start speaking with an accent. I'm following the Colin Farrell.
You sound a little more like from the New York.
Hey there, Pilgrim. Oh, no, went too far.
That's John Wayne.
Let me walk up close to you.
That is a little more goofy. Yuck.
Oh, we're terrible with accents.
Yeah, we are. I don't know what you're talking about there. This is my flawless British accent.
That is perfect. That is perfect with the pasties.
Yeah, don't you know?
Mm-hmm. You got to get that poutine.
Mm-hmm. The poutine, the cheese curds, the fish and chips.
Got to have that warm beer. And hot tea.
No, hot toddy. That's what
hot
you need.
Mm-hmm. Popping on over, gonna say hi to the royalty there. We got a king and everything.
They got corgis, and oh boy, don't you know, they got a lot of inbreeding going on there, but we don't talk much about that there.
No, we don't talk about that. We talk about the Union Jack, and we talk about Manchester.
Yep. And then you got the Birmingham, and then you got the London.
Mm-hmm. You can't talk about the Wrexham though, because the Wrexham ain't British. The Wrexhams are Scottish.
This might be outtakes. I don't know if I'm going to leave that in. Oh boy, there. Alex, let everyone know about the Discord, don't you know?
The Discord, there's a link down below. If you click on the clicker thing, it says click here, show more info. There it is. It's the tsmackpod@gmail.com. We talk on the Discord. The Discord's kind of like a telephone, but for your hands.
For your fingies, yeah. You do a little typey type, and then it sends a word message to us that we can read, and then we can say things back to you, don't you know?
Mm-hmm. And Clippy will be there to help you if you need it.
For sure. So click that link in the episode description below. This is just how we're ending the episode, apparently. It's not even going to go outtakes. It's just going to be this now. Click that link. Don't forget to listen to the Movie Wire. If you're listening on Wednesday, don't forget to listen to Two Blokes from Blighty. That's you'll hear two guys with accents just like ours.
Exact same. It might even be us.
Don't give away the trade secrets there.
Oh, I won't. I'm sorry.
Now you're going to lose your cheese curds for dinner now.
Oh, that's not good. I'm going to go play Parcheesi out in the back now and be sad.
Parcheesi, I see what you did there. Cheese curds, Parcheesi, good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Everybody loves them poutines.
You know the poutine is Canadian, not.
I know what I said.
How has Pride and Prejudice made us go this far off the rails? I lost the accent for a second because I can't really do it when I'm laughing.
Oh, I can do it all the time. You got to just know that there's poutine, there's cheeses, there's the Union Jacks, and that London Bridge is falling down.
Don't forget about the New Glarus spotted cow. You got to have the spotted cow.
Have it,
the summer shandy with the Leinenkugels. Mm-hmm. It does look like Leinenkugels, but it's pronounced Leinenkugels.
No, it's pronounced that way.
I always thought that was the thing the ladies did to make things more tight down there, but it's not.
You can follow us on all social
You can follow us on all the social media platforms, including Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, Hive Social. Nope, Hive Social doesn't exist. I just have the muscle memory, I guess. Facebook, YouTube, I should say the YouTubes, TikTok, at Talking SMAC Pod. Email us your thoughts, questions, reviews at tsmackpod@gmail.com. If you want to talk about our flawless British accents, there you go. Don't forget to leave reviews. If you're listening on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Thank you to Leo Allen for our musical teams, Beppo for our avatars, Retro Rail Studios for our original avatars. Thanks, Joey Fitzgerald, for the help on our thumbnails. There's no thumbnails that you helped out with this week, but I really wanted to say thank you because Alex has blown the cover and revealed that we're the same person. So now I'm just going to say that, Joey Fitz, you and I are not the same person, obviously. Please like, subscribe, rate, review on your podcatcher of choice. Thank you for listening. I don't know how this happened at the end of the episode, but thank you for making it this far very much. And Alex, thank you for being here.
Oh, you're welcome, sir. And you know what everyone should do? Everyone should watch those Trekking Stars because you got to go follow them.
The Trek Through the Stars. But make sure you don't take 90. There's construction happening on 90. You got to take 95 and you got to cut over to 80.
And you got to make sure it's not the first generation, it's the next generation of the behind the scenes of the DS9s. Very important.
And then if you hit Lambeau Field, you've gone too far. You got to turn left and then you got to keep heading west.
And if you see a man with the horns, you back away there. You do not like that purple.
The purple and gold is no good unless you're adult. There's no unless. The purple and gold, you've gone too far. No,
you got to swing by. You got to. I mean, if you do end up there and you can't find the right roundabout, you got to just go in front of the prince. You got to kneel before the prince. And you got to kiss the raspberry beret, and then you got to head right back to Canada.
You got to make sure they don't douse you in that purple rain. Watch Star Trek. Have a great day. I'm so sorry.